Well, hello again. Here's a good one for the yes or no treatment. The the idea that there are two sides to every question. Here's the question: Are there angels? Are there angels? Well, by that I mean the two sides are angels are a very real, God-given spiritual force in our lives who do God's bidding. Or the alternative interpretation is they're kind of comforting, protecting sort of symbols that give us a warm and semi-amused feeling, but nothing more than that. Okay, here are the arguments. On the yes side, yes, there are angels, very real spiritual creatures. Well, I suppose the first main argument is that they are an essential part of doing God's work. They appear in all the major Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They appear in some others as well, Zoroastrianism, etc., etc. So they are an important and ever-present component of most major religions that we know of, certainly in the West. Well, they perform vital roles. Look at the archangel Gabriel. Had one of the biggest jobs imaginable in Christianity. He performed the Annunciation. He announced to Mary that she was going to have the Christ child as her baby. His words are well known to us in the Catholic prayer, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee, blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Well, there's an important job and a very strong message and a key event, really, in the history of Christianity. We have Michael, the Archangel Michael, a warrior. Michael defeated Satan and drove him and the fallen angels down into hell. So that was pretty important as well. So angels and they're like archangels and so forth, with different ranks, have performed essential roles. They've been a messenger. They've been heralds, announcing the birth of Christ. Hark the herald angels sing. And they've been warriors. So they've done an awful lot of things for God. He couldn't do all those things himself. I suppose he could if he wanted to, but he like most chief executives, needs assistance, and that's what angels do. Furthermore, there are many people who would say that they have guardian angels, real spirits that help them, that protect them, that get them out of jams. I know of several people who believe that their lives have been saved by angels who have been warned against some impending threat, and because of the advice and protection of their guardian angel, were able to avoid it. That's pretty important as well. So for all of these reasons, it's pretty clear that there are real spiritual God-given angels out there doing both God's bidding and protecting us. Okay, well, on the no side, I suppose the principal argument would be that angels obviously have been manufactured by those who, in effect, manufactured God. Again, as is argued on the yes side, God needs help. He needs assistance. He's got an awful lot to do. And so it simply makes sense for him to have a bevy of minions out there performing the various tasks that need to be done. And furthermore, not only does he perhaps not have enough time to do all those things, but it might be beneath him, really, to do some relatively minor things like fighting the devils and so forth. So that's one kind of no answer. The concept of angels was manufactured. This idea of manufacturing is carried really to extremes by in many cases, the hierarchy of angels. As I understand it, the seraphim and the cherubim outrank the angels and the archangels. Seems odd to me, given that archangels have been given some of the most important jobs in the history of Christianity, but nonetheless, that's where it is. I've been to the painted monasteries in the north of Romania, where they have enormously complicated paintings of organization charts, really, of God and the angels and the different levels that are ascribed to them. So it's the whole concept of angelology, which they call it, has kind of taken on a life of its own and gotten ever more complicated. I suspect that people are just kind of having fun with it. Well, then there's the story of Joan of Arc, the great heroine, really, of the French people, Saint Joan, the symbol and inspirational leader who helped the French lift the siege of Orleans, drive the English out of France after the humiliation of their defeat at Agincourt, and in every respect a legendary figure in literature as well as in history, and the subject certainly of many films, I think one of which I saw. But retrospectively, the story does seem like the whole thing was pretty much a fraud, really. She was an impressionable teenage girl, born during the 100 Years' War, when people were willing to listen to all kinds of stories of valor and inspiration, and probably simply a delusional young girl. Why am I talking about this in the discussion of angels? Because she was recruited by the Archangel Michael, nonetheless, with whom she had repeated conversations, initially inspiring her to take on a role for which she was reluctant, and telling her how to do it, that she could do it, and that he would be right behind her. Well, of course, at the end of the day, she got her comeuppance in England, but of course that's another story. But nonetheless, a rather unbelievable story, really, of the role of an angel. You can believe it or not, but to my way of thinking, and to those who would argue that no angels are just kind of symbols, this is really a prime example. Next, in support of the notion that they are a comforting and pleasant kind of accompaniment to our lives, we see their ubiquity. The symbols of angels are everywhere. Football teams are named after them. People name their daughters after them, Angela. They are often, the term angelic is used for a small child who behaves not too badly. They are all over the place. They were certainly promoted heavily by the Italian Renaissance painters, and have been so up to the present day. In fact, years ago when I lived in New York, there was a group of people who patrolled the subways to protect people from violence, and they called themselves the Guardian Angels. They wore a very characteristic beret, and everybody seemed to be pleased to see them. So there is a constant simile and metaphor of angels out there in the world to make us feel good. Well, what's my take on all of this? Well, I guess similarly to my take on God, which is I think he's pretty unlikely, but I wouldn't be so arrogant as to rule him out. I can't be uncertain about anything of this sort, and I can't be certain about whether they're angels or not. So I give them an unlikely but a possible. In fact, as one of my other diversions apart from making YouTube videos, I have a stamp collection which I've recently kind of reinvigorated and brought my attention to. And guess what? The Archangel Gabriel is the patron saint of stamp collectors. So there it is. I have a connection. But all of this is pretty harmless stuff, I think, and I'm not going to get too excited about it. So there you have it. I hope, as usual, I haven't offended anyone. Give me a like, subscribe to the channel, comment, please, and well, I'll see you at the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.